Well, the numbers are shocking. In response to Donald Trump, the number of Canadians taking day trips to the United States and traveling to vacation in the United States are plummeting, and they're showing no signs of changing anytime soon. And people want to know what to do this winter. Who better to talk about it than someone who's an expert, the host of Get Lost? She is an incredible follow on Instagram. You've seen her everywhere. Natalie Pretty. Natalie, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. And what an intro.
Well,
Love it.
a well-deserved intro. And as we get to the end of November into
hmm
December, it's a conversation my family's having and a lot of families are having. Okay, I'm not going to Florida. I'm not going to Myrtle Beach. Where do I go for the winter? And let's go through a few places. I'm going to stop by a couple destinations,
Okay.
non-American, and get your take. First of all,
Okay.
somewhere I know our friends go every year, Cuba. Tell us why it's a good spot for Canadians to go for a winter vacation.
Okay. Well, let's start off with the affordability.
Okay.
Cuba's going to be a place that is somewhat more affordable, and also, especially with the aging population, let's talk about healthcare.
Mm.
You are going to have healthcare there. They have a fantastic healthcare
Oh,
system
never
down in
thought of that.
Cuba. So, if you are older and you're
Oh.
looking to be there for a long time, it's a great place to go.
And is depending, and it's a bigger island than I think people realize.
Yes.
So depending where you are in the island, in the north coast, south coast, or east or west, it's a
Yeah.
different vibe, isn't it?
Absolutely. Also, like Havana is an amazing city. That is so awesome. If you're looking for an all-inclusive, though, if that was your getaway, I wouldn't choose Cuba as my first
Okay.
place. I will say Cuba has the most stunning beaches. The beaches there are just so beautiful. The education, the healthcare, fantastic, but they've often been lacking in food.
Yes, I
Um,
have heard that.
Yes,
Yes.
in terms of food quality, they're just not a focus for resorts there.
But if you want sun, fun beaches, and a place where Canadians are welcome, it's a good spot.
It's a fantastic spot and affordable, and that's the key right now, especially with the way the Canadian dollar is performing around the world. Somewhere where it's going to go a little bit further is definitely Cuba.
Now, is I always view it as affordable, but I'm curious to get your expert opinion.
Mhm.
Dominican Republic.
I love the Dominican
Okay.
Republic. So that's somewhere again that's going to be, if we're talking about all inclusives,
Yes.
it's going to be more affordable than Mexico, but more expensive than Cuba.
So it's sort of middle of the
It's
pack
kind
then.
of middle of the
Yeah.
pack. Great resorts there. They've got a lot of bigger chains that are opening up places in the Dominican Republic. And we were there for Christmas last year.
Oh.
Fantastic resort, and we found that every single staff member really loved being there. And I feel like just as a country, it's just a nice, happy, fun place to be. I enjoy it. We're actually going again this winter. We love it so much. There's a chain of resorts, the Amelia brand, that we absolutely love. And my husband, he said, this winter, I want to go somewhere where we are not far from the airport
Hmm.
and I don't have to do anything and the kids can play. Like
I've
I
been
just,
hearing a lot of that, Natalie. Yeah.
the all inclusive is back for that
Yes.
reason. People want to just get away and do absolutely nothing. So we're heading back because it's a consistent place with consistent heat. Again, with Mexico, if were to talk about Mexico,
Definitely we will
we
get
will
to
we'll
that. Yeah,
get there.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
still a little bit, it's not as consistent with weather. It can be a little bit cooler at night,
Oh.
depending on what you're looking for. But Dominican, the weather's always predictable. The food, the beaches, the water, it's all very predictable and it's just a great destination.
And you brought up something your husband mentioned. I've been hearing that from more and more Canadians, whether it's the stress of the last couple years, life in general. They instead of doing the activity vacation, I'm hearing more people, more Canadians say they want to go somewhere warm, Natalie, and just sit and be.
Yes, we are seeing a lot of that, but we're also simultaneously we are in the same people want to really experience a place,
Yes.
right? So I'm finding that we are looking for more um immersive experiences. So when we're going to destinations, we are looking um for somewhere where we can take a cooking class or
Like hiking,
Getting cooking
the
class or
history.
history or like make chocolate or go shopping or they really want to get involved in the countries that they are going to rather. And so we're seeing a lot of all inclusives offer
Oh,
cooking classes and
okay.
offer immersive
Cigar rolling
activities
or
or
whatever.
cigar rolling.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a real blend. So people are able to do both together because there is definitely a place for doing nothing. We
I,
work hard for our 2 weeks
I
vacation.
now you had alluded to Mexico, and I've
Yes.
been in Huituco, which is in the
Oh
Pacific
yes,
in the
love
south,
Huatuco.
and I've been to Cozumel, and they're even though they're same country, they're very, very different.
Yes. So I think that people forget how big of a country
Oh,
Mexico
it's
is.
huge.
People will say, "Oh, I just saw a travel advisory for Mexico." And I'm like, "Cool. That's like getting a travel advisory for Vancouver when you live in Toronto."
Yes.
It's very different. Very different people, very different form of economy. So you have to look at particular places that you're going. Huatuco,
I
fantastic
loved it.
destination. It's
Yeah.
beautiful and very different than your Cancun, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, it really depends what type of trip you are looking for.
Is it true? I've heard you can dispel this truth or rumor that in Cabo, the undertow, it's a place to sit in the beach. You shouldn't swim in the ocean because of the waves. Is that true?
I mean, I feel like that's true everywhere.
Oh,
I know even at Lake Ontario, if you
depending on the time of the
depending
year.
on the
Yeah.
time of year, we have undertows, and we lose people who think they know how to swim, and you
Yes.
know
And respect the ocean.
and respect the ocean.
Yes.
Absolutely. Use your head. I always say when you travel, whether you're at home, or at Lake Ontario or in Cabo, respect the ocean, make good decisions.
I have a real soft spot for Jamaica. My wife and I started our honeymoon in Montego Bay, and
Aw.
it'll always be near and dear to our heart. Jamaican Canadians are such an important part of the foundation of the country. They
Yes.
had a devastating hurricane.
Yes.
A, is it open for vacation? And B, how much will it help the country if Canadians go there for vacation?
That is a fantastic question, which is always tough. Wow. So the Jamaican Tourist Board says that they are open for
Okay.
business.
I wasn't sure about that. That's why I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
ask.
yeah. That says they are open for business. Are they entirely open for business? I don't know.
Mhm.
The videos we're seeing from friends and family that are still there, there's still a lot of destruction that people are trying to build back
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
especially in certain
It
areas.
takes time.
It does take time. However, that being said, one of the ways to help is to visit because the tourism sector is huge part of their GDP, and putting money into that is helping people, right?
Right.
But I would also say if you are traveling down, a lot of airlines, I know WestJet is definitely one. You can pack an extra check-in bag for free to bring supplies down for people. So
Oh,
that is yeah. So if you
oh,
plan on
fantastic.
heading down, I wouldn't go for the remainder of 2025. I
Okay.
would just leave it.
So February, March next year, maybe?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And when you say supplies, what does that mean?
So we're looking at things like diapers,
Oh,
and we're looking at soap, toothbrushes, toothpaste,
essential staples.
essential staples
Okay.
for people who are rebuilding their lives, and
Wow.
their homes, their livelihoods were all completely destroyed. So Canadians, we are such a giving bunch, and as you said, we very much have a deep bond with Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fantastic opportunity to go down, spend your tourism dollars, but also, go outside your resort. Ask someone who works there, where's a really good place to go get a coffee? Jamaica has some of the most
Oh,
amazing coffee in the
oh,
world,
yeah.
you know,
And the
so
rum cake?
and the rum cake.
Oh.
That's Christmas for me.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's yeah, we'd bring out a rum cake. But we have such power with our dollar, and
Yes.
we really need to be cognizant of that when we travel and how we travel and where we travel.
If you've not followed Natalie on Instagram, Natalie Pretty, you must do it. It's so informative. It's entertaining, but you're learning something in your post. And I know you talk about different places, including recently you were talking about the power of St. Lucia as a destination.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that island. It's so beautiful. What I have found is they have really done a lot for women to have economic independence.
Oh,
So there has been a lot of opportunities for women to showcase their talent. So there's a place called Coco St. Lucie, and it's a woman who she worked with the government to build this chocolate making facility. You can also make your own chocolate bars. They
oh,
also have a restaurant up top. And I remember years and years ago, she was making chocolate products out of her house. And now she has this beautiful venue which overlooks the forest,
oh
and
my
you can see the
goodness.
water. It's
It
absolutely
sounds like
gorgeous.
heaven.
It is heaven. Stonefields is another place that I love. It is owned by St. Lucian Canadian. And her mother is still there, and she sits by the restaurant every day. And these little villas have their own pools that overlook the pitons. You have fresh food that comes from their organic farm. So it really, what St. Lucia has done is really tapping into their local talent, their local produce, and trying to make their tourism offering just so unique and special.
You spoke earlier that the one thing that you love about Dominican, it's almost guaranteed weather. I also have a soft spot for the Bahamas, but are there better times of the year to go to the Bahamas than others?
Yeah, I mean, Bahamas also love the Bahamas. The water there is just, as you know,
It's almost
s-
not real. It's so
yeah,
clear, right?
yeah, it's stunning. I love it there. But it is a little bit cooler in the
Yes.
winter months, right? Because it is a little bit higher, not as close to the equator. So in January, you might get some rainier days, you might get some cooler days, nights you might need a sweater or a light
Good to
jacket.
know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I mean, that depends.
Yeah.
And things change so much with global warming, unfortunately, with climate change, rain patterns, Hurricane Melissa,
Yeah.
storm patterns, rain patterns, um, weather is changing so drastically. And especially in the Caribbean, it can be hard to predict what weather is coming because it does change so rapidly.
Okay, before we get to some Canadian destinations for winter, I had a few friends mention they've been doing winter trips to Portugal. Now,
Yes.
why has it become such a hot place for Canadians to go during winter?
So for a lot of people, it's Europe, and
Yeah,
everyone loves Europe. But the
exactly.
the
Right.
weather is fairly mild. It's not really hot. It's not cold. Again, it's in your high teens for weather. It's an easy place to visit as a Canadian. Everyone's really nice. We're really nice.
Mhm.
So you have and you have Airbnbs that are more
Oh,
accessible as
okay.
well. So people are tending to stay in those properties
For extended stays?
for extended stays. So,
Yes.
instead of people that were going to Florida for 3 months, they're now going to Portugal for 3 months.
Right.
And you can also access the rest of Europe from there as well, right?
Of course, yeah.
Portugal is so easy. You can head to Spain. You're not going to have the crowds. You're not going to have the inflated pricing.
Yes.
You are just going to have these beautiful places, these attractions, this architecture essentially to yourself.
But our youngest daughter and a bunch of friends from uni, after they were done, they went to Portugal, and they flew from Lisbon to Barcelona for like what, $50 or something?
Oh yeah. I lived in London, England for about 10 years, and you would it, you could just do £50 to go to Seville for the weekend.
That's it?
That was it. It is so easy to get around, and we often in Canada, because it's so difficult to
Yes.
travel even
Yeah.
within our country, it is so expensive to travel within, that we forget that the rest of the world, well, especially Europe, is doing it every single day.
So Natalie, for Canadians maybe financially who are not going to be able to go to Dominican Republic or Portugal,
Hmm.
are looking to vacation a winter thing, a winter
Hmm.
festival or not, driving distance. Are there some destinations or some places within Canada in the winter that we should keep an eye out for?
So, if you're looking for mild weather, of course, you want to head to the West Coast.
Of
So,
course,
Victoria is a huge spot for Canadians, especially older Canadians, in the winter
because of
because
the climate,
the climate it's still just so mild. You're
right?
not going to have the snow that you have here in Toronto. Saying that, I did have a friend in Vancouver last year, had all of the snow and built a snowman for
Yeah.
the first time in like a
I saw
decade.
that. It was like and they didn't know what to do with it because
No,
no one's driven in snow.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. She's like, "What's happening?" So again, climate change.
yeah.
But Victoria is known for being a really nice place to be in winter. if you're into winter,
Yes.
I last year I spent some time in Quebec at winter during winter.
In Carnival?
I went to the carnival. I
Oh,
went to the ice castle,
okay.
which is so cool. It's a different design every single year. They bring in designers from all over the
Oh,
world
is
and
that
they
right?
sculpt these massive blocks of ice into the most gorgeous architecture of this ice hotel. Last year, they worked with Indigenous Canada
Oh,
to celebrate,
fantastic.
I think, 50 years. So they had these gorgeous Indigenous sculptures inside of the ice hotel as well. And Fairmont actually added a restaurant inside the ice hotel, and you drink out of ice glasses.
Oh,
It's
cool.
very, very cool. But I mean, Quebec is a beautiful destination. It's like you are stepping into Europe, whether you're in Montreal or Quebec City,
And you could drive there.
and you can drive there.
Yeah.
And it's just a really beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, and I've been in Niagara Falls in the winter, and I find by the falls, it's actually really cool
Oh
in the
yeah.
wintertime.
Oh, the ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks like a Chris Nolan film, like Batman.
Yes, yeah.
Something epic is gonna come out of the ice and the water. Yeah.
Before we get to some of your travel hacks that I know I need some help with, and that, what about maybe some other places that maybe that people aren't thinking of, but would be a good little secret place to travel if you're looking for somewhere this winter?
Absolutely. So Belize is a
Oh,
fantastic
I just heard someone talking
destination.
about that recently.
Oh, yeah. So this country is 60% protected land, and they are very strict with their tourism laws, which means that they are focused on maintaining culture
Oh,
and diversity and environmental sustainability. So that is fantastic. Also, they have the largest living barrier reef in the world, which is the second biggest barrier reef. But unfortunately, the one in Australia is dying. So
so this is a bigger living one?
this is a bigger living one. It is
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
huge. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. My son and I were there um, in March, I want to say, and it was just beautiful. It's inexpensive. The food is good. It's like Caribbean and Mayan culture had a baby, and the
Okay.
food is
That sounds pretty
very
cool.
inspired, very delicious. You also have, if you go inland, you have the Mayan ruins,
Yes.
and they're still discovering them in Belize. So
Oh,
the history there is just fascinating. It's also fairly inexpensive in terms of accommodation. You've got Airbnbs, you've got VRBOs, there are hotels, and even the hotels there, not a lot of them are all inclusive because
they're more like an old school hotel?
yeah, like
Yeah.
they'll offer all inclusive, but you don't need
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't want to. You drive your little golf cart around and
Golf
go.
cart?
Yeah, oh, everyone drives golf carts
Oh,
around. Oh, it's
nice.
so cool. And you drive along this beautiful white sandy beach, and you find a gorgeous restaurant on the beach that is serving
Cool.
fresh lobster. It is
Wow.
such a cool destination. I highly recommend that one. And also Panama is very hot at the moment.
So why I've heard that from a few people. Now,
Hmm.
why is Panama all of a sudden become an in thing now?
Well,
I know the
again,
weather must be
the
good.
weather's fantastic.
Yeah.
Also affordability,
Oh,
again,
okay.
safety.
Yes.
It's a really easy to get to destination.
Okay.
And it's still
Interesting.
affordable, and it's not crammed with tourists. So people are going to these places, Costa Rica as well, although places like Tamarindo, you're getting more and more people. They don't have the infrastructure to handle all the
Right.
people that they're getting now, right? So
Right.
you have rolling blackouts, you have
Oh,
some sewage issues. It's still one of the most beautiful places in the world, but we have to think as tourists again, where what our money is doing, what our presence is doing in a place before we keep showing up.
so I have issues packing. So you're
Okay.
going to walk me through this. More and more people are going vacation with strictly a carry-on to
Hmm.
avoid the
All the
baggage fees
fees.
and just get on and get off the plane. So how do you pack properly in a carry-on if you're going to be gone 5 or 6 days?
Oh, Jim, that's easy.
I
I just
suck.
did I just did 10 days in Uganda with just a
10 days
10 days. Yeah, I surprised
with a
myself
carry-on?
with a carry-on.
Okay,
Yeah.
how?
Okay, so I actually talked about this on breakfast television this morning. One option is AI. So you can say, Hey, AI, it's Jim. I am going here for 5 days. This is what I plan on doing. I have this much room. What should I pack? And
Really?
AI will come out, ChatGPT will come out with a beautiful list of everything to pack. It will also highlight whether you should roll or you should fold.
Well, that's what I can't understand.
Roll.
Roll?
Always roll. Use every single piece that you can, every
Okay.
single piece of space, rather, that you can. Use packing cubes. Packing cubes are the way forward.
Okay, for people watching who don't understand, what is a packing cube?
So a packing cube is exactly that. So it's like a little mesh bag piece
Yes.
of zippered pack, and you open it, you roll all of your stuff and you put it inside, close it, and there's usually now a second zipper which will further compress everything
So
in.
it's almost like a non-vacuum vacuum bag?
100% nailed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you can fit more into your
And then you
carry-on.
can fit more into your carry-on.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, and your shoes, right? So your shoes, that is a massive bit of space
Yes.
that you can use. Put your underwear in there. Put all of your underwear. Put your socks. If you can fit a t-shirt, go for it. You
Into the
know,
oh.
when I say every little bit of space, use that now. I always say as well, because it can be tricky. People unpack and then,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
big explosion and there's stuff everywhere. When it comes to toiletries, get one of those hanging toiletry bags so you don't have to unpack that.
It just hangs in the
It
bathroom.
just hangs in the bathroom. And same with your packing cubes. When you take them out, just take them and put them right into a drawer.
Oh.
So then you are containing all of your things together. Also, wherever you're traveling, see if they have a free laundry service. If you are traveling to Kenya or Uganda, any sort of lodge or a safari place, they will do your laundry for you because they know you have come with so little because you're getting on and off bush planes and you just have a little bit. So look at wherever you're going, see what the
Oh,
laundry inclusions
okay.
are. See what's available. What if you have for those who are traveling with kiddos, one thing I've always done is order my diapers to my destination so I don't have to travel with
Why have
all
I
of
never
those
thought about
diapers.
that? That's
Well,
brilliant.
you know what? I feel like you've grown out of it,
Yeah.
but you'll be back there again.
Yeah,
So
Um, so the other thing, people watching, how do I get the best deals on my flight and hotel? Are there hacks? Are there tips to make sure you're maximizing whatever money you can spend?
yes. So the answer is yes. Uh, is there a best day? It changes. Some people will say a Tuesday. You do want to book your flights a minimum 45 days out of when you plan on traveling. I
Oh,
would say a
okay.
minimum, because flights just go up. But what I love to, what I've always done, I've gone to sites like Skyscanner, Kayak, Hopper, and you can put in your flights. You put in your days, your whether you want one stop
Mhm.
or direct,
Mhm.
and it will come up with a bunch of flights, and it will say book now or hold out. And then you can put an alert on those flights and they'll come back to you and say, hey, so I've been following these flights and I think you should book now because I think it's going to go up. Or it'll say, you know what, wait a week. See
Oh,
what happens with Black Friday. See if you
of
can
course.
find any deals there, but I wouldn't wait much longer than whatever date. So it really, again, we're using AI. This is one of the places where I think AI is fantastic because it helps you find those deals.
And I would think if you know when March break is, you go like between Valentine's and March break, or maybe after, you might save some money too.
Absolutely. The prices. So what my family's doing, I travel a lot with my work, but occasionally I need to go on a trip where I just
Yeah,
am
well, yeah.
doing nothing
Then not
and I'm
working.
not working.
Yeah.
So we booked a trip and like I said, we're going to the Dominican.
Yes.
And we're leaving at the end of January. Any of
Oh.
the weeks prior, it was double to go on this trip
Oh,
per
really?
person. Yes. So you really want to go in those times, between March break and Valentine's Day, after Christmas, before Family Day. If you
Yes.
have
Right.
flexibility, that is key. And remember, March break goes over 2 weeks because you have private school that has
Yes.
a different week off than public school. So there are 2 weeks in March that will be pricey.
Okay, that's a good tip. I guess finally, how long do you think Canadians will continue to avoid traveling to America? Because I know my partner and her girlfriends once a year would go every November for a
Yeah.
day trip to Buffalo. They're not doing that. I have friends
No.
that yearly, they're like, they're saying, I'm so upset with what's happening. And I don't even know if it's going to take a while to change. Is that what you sense as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers, every month, fewer and fewer Canadians are visiting the States. And I see this continuing. We are very unhappy with what's going on down there. It's not getting any better,
No.
and I think if, for at least the next, 3.5 years, I think, we're going to be staying away from there. Every time I meet Americans when I'm traveling, they always say, Listen, it's not all of us.
Yeah.
I'm so
It's not
sorry.
my
It's
fault.
not my fault.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't me." And I'm like, "No, I know." When they
yeah.
say, "Oh, our country's a disaster." Um, and then other places around the world, they want to come to Canada.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to continue to see more Canadians staying within Canada, spending our dollar within our own country. I know there's been talk about changing some of the interprovincial laws
Mhm.
for trading to make it easier to travel between provinces or to fly between provinces is more the issue. So yeah, I think for the foreseeable future, we and the rest of the world are going to be in Canada.
And Natalie, just to close, I get the sense that Canadians are rediscovering the beauty of the country, whether it's the Great Lakes, the Rocky Mountains, the East Coast, the West Coast. They realize there's a lot to enjoy and explore and are right in our own borders.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I cannot tell you the amount of articles I have written about Canada for international publications,
And they want to read it.
and they want to read it
Yeah.
because I think within 1 month I had written 4 different articles for about Canada for a UK
Oh, is
magazine.
that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
and National Geographic. They want to talk about Canada. Everyone wants to talk about Canada. So I think it's a really fantastic opportunity. I don't know if you've heard of the pass, this Canada Strong Pass that was
Yes.
this on this summer. That's
Yes.
going to be implemented again over the holidays.
Oh,
So we're, discounts on Via Rail, really encouraging
national parks too, right?
national parks.
Yes.
We'll have free access. There will be so many different attractions that are available for Canadians. And I think it's a really, really exciting time. The whole world is looking at Canada. We have the most amazing product here
And then the
from
World
coast
Cup's
to
coming.
coast. The world, oh, I'm so excited. And with sporting events, I
Yes.
think we have from a tourism point of view, we have the most fantastic product. And I think Canadians are realizing that. And there's nothing that brings us together than, this pride of this beautiful land that we're living on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's funny how it took this, Natalie, but I'm hearing more and more like, I like instead of going skiing in Aspen, they're
Yeah.
going to Whistler.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, they're going here. And they're like, you know what?
Absolutely.
I'm going to go back. And so I love it.
It's cheaper, and a lot of Americans are saying as well, "Oh, we're not gonna ski in the States, so we're gonna come up to Canada because we've been wanting to,
Oh.
and, we'd rather spend more time out of the country." So I think we're very lucky to be Canadian, at this
Yes, we
time
are.
politically,
Yeah.
and, I'm grateful that my parents chose to move here.
Thanks,
And,
Mom. Thanks, Dad.
thanks, Mom and Dad, for that. But yeah, I think it's a really exciting time for travel within Canada.
Natalie, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this, and I'm sure all our viewers will. Well, Natalie Pretty, the host of Get Lost, an incredible follower on Instagram. Where else can people find you and discover what you're all about?
Well, YouTube, Get Lost with Natalie
Nice.
Pretty. I'm doing some work in the Caribbean, Beyond the Resort,
Oh, great.
and on Breakfast Television. I talk about travel on Breakfast Television, but
And now on True Patriot Love.
and exactly True Patriot, which of course is the most important conversation, right? About
I
travel.
like that.
Yes. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having me,
Oh,
Jim.
it's a pleasure. Thank you.